Good morning, children. Welcome to English class. Children, in our last session, we have discussed lesson 8, Birbal and the cooking pot. Here, the lesson is a play, children. In this, the characters are Akbar, Birbal, courtiers, washerman, drummer, messenger, child, people, and washerman's wife. One day, in the morning, Akbar, the emperor, as well as his minister Birbal are walking in the palace balcony up and down. Then Akbar says to Birbal that, Birbal, I have heard that the water in the river near the palace is very cold. Is it true? Then Birbal says, Yes, Your Majesty. Then Akbar says that, if a person stand in the middle of the water at night, would he die? Then Birbal replies that, Certainly, Your Majesty, no ordinary man could survive this cold. Then Akbar thinks for a while and then he says that, now this is I got a chance to test the strength of the common man of my kingdom. Then he whispers something in the ears of Birbal. Now Birbal was surprised to listen that, then he nods his head. The same day, in the afternoon, a drummer beats the drums loudly in the busy street of the town. All the people gather around him to listen to the loudly says that, Listen, listen, the great emperor Akbar rewards. And he gives the information of the reward. If any person can stand for one night in the middle of the water near the palace, then the king is going to award him. Then he will be richly awarded. Now the people listened to the announcement and they were so excited and they were discussing like, it's impossible. Who will stand in the middle of the cold water? Shall we try? And they were thinking that it is too risky. But there was a poor washerman who listened to the announcement and he spoke to his wife that, he said to his wife that, it's a good chance. If I get this reward, we can live very happily. But wife says that, no, don't do that. You will be freeze and you will die. So I have to live alone and the rest of my life is totally to cry. So, but washerman says that, don't worry, nothing will happen to me. I'll try it. After all, I'm a washerman. The whole day I'll wash the clothes with this cold water of the river only. So nothing will happen to me. The same day at night, the washerman will stand in the middle of the river. So the people who work in the palace, they come out and look at the washerman and feels that this is the foolish thing he is doing. And they discusses that, let us pray for him. And one of the persons said that he is so poor man, he will die before the night is out. So like that the people were discussing about the washerman. But luckily, the next morning, the washerman is alive and he is well. He came out of the water and all the people have clapped and shouted with joy that, thank God, he is alive. He is so lucky that he is alive and he is also going to receive a reward from the king. Then wife also, she greeted her husband and she feels that and she says that, I'm so much worried about you. The child also feels very proud of his father and says that, you are so brave. Well, the emperor will give you the award now. Then the washerman says that, of course, he will give the gift. After all, I have passed the test. The washerman with his family went to the court. Akbar was seated in his chair and Birbal was standing near Akbar. The courtiers and the guards are in their places. The washerman enters the court with his family and he bows before Akbar. Akbar says to washerman that, I feel very, very happy, my dear young man. You have proved your strength. Come and take this reward. A man enters with a silver tray full of coins. Now Akbar is about to give the reward to the washerman, but a courtier says that he doesn't deserve the reward because the lights of the palace has warmed the water of the river. So he did not stood in the cool water. The water is warm. Akbar also thinks about that, and he says that yes, he doesn't deserve the reward. Now the washerman he returned back to his home with his family with lot of sadness. Here the jealous courtier smiles wickedly, and here but Birbal was so angry with this decision and on the courtier, but he won't speak anything. The other day Akbar was in the court and Birbal was not there in his seat. By seeing that, Akbar says that this is the first time Birbal was late to the court. Now he'll inform the messenger, go to his house and see what is the reason why he was absent. The messenger very soon he'll come back to the court and pass the information that Birbal is cooking his food. So it takes long time to cook the food. Akbar becomes very angry by listening to the messenger, and he says that why it takes long time for cooking the food. Now I will personally visit his house and see what is the reason. Now he gets up from his chair and he walks towards the minister's house, that is Birbal's house. Courtiers and also the guards followed Akbar. When Akbar went to Birbal's house, Akbar was sitting near the fire on the ground and he tied the pot onto the branch of a tree. By saying that, Akbar says that, Birbal, what is this foolish thing you are doing? How can the pot will become warm with the fire on the ground? You lit the fire on the ground, but you tied the pot onto the branch of a tree. So how is it possible? Then Birbal says that with the twinkling eyes, Your Majesty, it's possible, as the palace lights have warmed the cold water of the river. In the same way, the fire on the ground will warm the pot tied to the branch. Now Akbar understood why Birbal is behaving like that. So Akbar laughs. Now the other day, the scene is in the court of Akbar. The washerman comes to the Akbar's court along with his family. Akbar hand over the tray of coins to Birbal, and Birbal gives the tray of coins to the washerman. Now all the people were very happy and everyone claps. Now here the washerman smiles and bows before the emperor. So the washerman was happy, Birbal was happy, and Akbar was also very, very happy. So that is about the story of Birbal and the cooking pot. Hope you all have understood the lesson well, children. Now I'll show you the video of the lesson. Watch the video and understand the lesson clearly, children.
Birbal and the cooking pot. Akbar, Birbal, courtiers, washerman, drummer, messenger, child, people, washerman's wife. Scene 1. It is morning and the view is of a palace balcony overlooking a river. Akbar and Birbal are walking up and down the balcony.
Birbal, I have heard that the water in this river is very cold. Is it true?
Yes, Your Majesty.
If a man stood in this water for one whole night, would he die?
Certainly, Your Majesty. No ordinary man could survive this cold.
Well, here is my chance to test the strength of the common man in my kingdom. Birbal, listen.
The emperor whispers into Birbal's ear. Birbal shows surprise, then nods. Scene 2. In the afternoon, in a busy part of the town, a drummer beats his drum loudly and people gather round him.
Listen, listen, the great Emperor Akbar's reward. Anyone who can stand for one night in the river near the palace will be richly rewarded.
On the pavements, people stop and talk excitedly. Impossible. Who will do it? Shall we try? Too risky. a poor washerman whispers to his wife.
This is a good chance. If I get this reward, we can live well.
No, I don't want that. You will freeze to death and I'll be left alone to cry.
Don't worry. Nothing will happen to me. After all, I wash clothes in the cold water of the river every day.
Scene 3. It is night and the washerman is standing in the middle of the river. The reflection of lights from the palace can be seen in the water. Some people come and look at him, shake their heads and go away. Some people say,
Poor man, he will die before the night is out.
"A foolish thing to do. Well, let us pray for him." Scene 4. The next morning, the washerman, alive and well, walks out of the river. Thank God, he is alive. Lucky man to get the reward.
Oh, I was so worried about you. Father, you're so brave. Will the emperor reward you now?
Yes, of course. Didn't I pass the test?
Scene 5. At the court, Emperor Akbar is seated on his throne and Birbal is near him. The courtiers and the guards are in place. The washerman enters with his family and bows before Akbar.
We are very happy with you, young man. You have proved your strength. Come, take your reward.
A man enters with a silver tray full of coins. As Akbar is about to give the coins to the washerman,
Your Majesty, this man does not deserve the reward, for the water was not really cold. You see, the lights from your palace kept it warm. You do have a point. Well, if that is so, then there is no question of a reward.
the washerman goes away sadly with his family. The jealous courtier smiles wickedly. Birbal looks very upset and angry. Scene 6. The next day at Akbar's court, Birbal's seat is empty.
This is the first time Birbal is late for the court. Messenger, go and find out the reason for his absence.
The messenger bows and goes away. He returns in a while.
Your Majesty, the minister is in his house. He says he is cooking his food and it will take a long time to do so.
Akbar angrily.
What nonsense! How can food take so long to cook? I shall go and see for myself.
The emperor gets up and walks quickly, followed by some courtiers and guards. Scene 7. Birbal is sitting near a fire on the ground. Far above it, on a branch of a tree, is a cooking pot. As the emperor approaches, Birbal rises and bows to him.
Birbal, what a foolish thing to do! How can this fire warm your cooking pot?
In the same way, Your Majesty, as the lights from your palace had made the water of the river warm.
Akbar laughs as he understands what Birbal is trying to say. Scene 8. The next day, the washerman and his family are present at Akbar's court. Akbar hands the tray of coins to Birbal, who gives it to the washerman. People cheer and clap. The washerman smiles and bows before the emperor.
Okay, that is a video of the lesson Birbal and the cooking pot. Hope you all have enjoyed the lesson, children. Now with this, we'll close today's session. Coming to today's year homework, read lesson 8 Birbal and the cooking pot. That's it for today. See you in the next session. Bye, children.